Today, I'm telling a couple nightmares from the past. This is a little bit of a different story time for me because normally I'm telling stories that actually happened to me, but these nightmares are just, in my head. So, as a kid, I got two really vivid nightmares. I don't know how my mind came up with this shit, but I'm gonna tell those ones first, and then I'm gonna tell the one that I just had tonight. Because I woke up at like 3 a.m. in a cold sweat, and I didn't even think it was a nightmare. This shit wasn't even that scary, but it was kind of funny. So it reminded me of the other ones, and we're just gonna get into it all together. So that was an accident. First nightmare when I was about like 6 or 7, I think. I don't know, maybe a little bit younger. I was a kid. Scariest thing at the time I had seen would have been like Scooby-Doo, and running around in sorry, I'm kind of skipping. Me and my cousins would be running around on their property, like around their house, playing Ghost in the Graveyard. If you never played Ghost in the Graveyard, this is a game that kids would be playing with flashlights, Basically hide and seek, but the person who's it has a flashlight, and you can hide anywhere because it's real dark. Me and my cousins play that game regularly. I don't remember it ever being scary. I guess because people had flashlights and we were, somewhere I felt safe. But the nightmare took place in that same place. I'm running around the property. I'm just like doing my thing with a flashlight, and then I see a deer. I didn't remember seeing any of my cousins in the dream, but this deer I catch in that flashlight, and it just stares back at me. Then it stands up. Now, at the time, like I said, I'm like 6 or 7. Adventure Time wasn't out, bro. I'm like 24 here, so. So, kid me is running around in the stream, got a flashlight, and none of my cousins are there, but I'm looking around in the dark with this flashlight, and I catch a deer. I look at the deer for a second, it looks back at me, it just looks like a normal deer, and then it just stands up. And I was like, a little kid, so I'm scared shitless. Little kid turns around in the dream and just starts running for the door, which is my cousin's house. There's a little shallow porch. It's not like a big deck where you could like run around under it. It's just a porch. And I don't know why, but in the dream, I thought I could just get up under it to get away from the deer. Maybe I thought I wouldn't be able to fit under there. So kid me climbs under this little porch and starts like army crawling away from the deer. And at this point, I look over my shoulder, it's chasing me. I look back and that deer is also army crawling after me under the porch. That's where the dream ends. Now, for some fun, I did a little interpretation. Here's the drawing artist rendition I did. But yeah, that was like, like I said, right when I looked back, I thought it couldn't get under the porch with me, and it could. Dream ends right there. I woke up. And after that, I actually remember I was like, I want to sleep in my mom's bed. And like, that was where the next nightmare took place. Again, I was a little ass kid. I remember these dreams happening back to back. And my mom did let me sleep in her bed. She was like, okay, you could come sleep with me for the night. You had a nightmare. It's whatever. I'm down there at the time. My mom's room was in the basement. It's random. It's random, but it's a part of the memory. So. Hold on. Let me not die again. This is my second time trying to tell this story. Okay. So. My mom's room was in the basement. So at the bottom of the steps, there would be a whole entranceway, and then to the right, my mom's room, there was like a second room. I'm only telling you this because I remember, like, in the dream, I'm in that room. I had one of those dreams where you wake up from the bed and, like, you're still actually asleep. I literally remember kid me getting up out of bed and walking around that corner into that entranceway room, but then there was also another room. And in real life, like, bottom of the steps was like an intersection of the house. I know I'm explaining this crazy, but in real life here, the bottom of the steps was like an intersection. So there was my mom's room, and then there was another room right here that was supposed to be a bathroom, but it was under construction. And I remember in the dream, I walked out of my mom's room to the steps, and then I looked into the construction room, and there was a demon. And the demon was behind like a door. Like, I'm sorry, not a door, a cage. So like, there's iron bars in that little side room, and then the demon is just standing behind them, even though it could like clearly walk out. And when I explained this to somebody else, like I told this person who was pretty spiritually attuned what my dream was, and I thought maybe they'd be able to give me some insight. They basically broke it down like the demon was already free and able to walk out, and the demon was just society's judgments, and they said it way more eloquently than that, so I'll just put up their version of it. But I'm going to put up my artist rendition next to it too, because this is what I saw, this is what my friend interpreted it as, and honestly it still scares me thinking about it, but I think sharing it is helping. So yeah, little kid me saw this demon. It does kind of remind me of the thing from Scooby-Doo, but it had more of like a smoky texture to it. Like, I don't know how else to describe it than that, because it didn't look solid. The figure looked like it was almost like falling apart or like fading into the air. And yeah, I remember that as a kid. Creepy. Don't remember that from Scooby-Doo, but so yeah, kid me, I guess, had an imagination, and it used to freak me out. That is actually a big reason that I was bad at sleeping, because, like I said, I'd be going to bed and thinking of stuff like that, and then I didn't want to sleep anymore. I'd be having nightmares so bad that it would wake me back up. A lot of them weren't that vivid. They never stuck with me like that, but I remember a couple like crashes as nightmares, and I remember a couple horror movies really did me in, like Dead Alive I saw as a kid, I think that's what it was called, and it just completely like fucked me up. I remember not even being able to close my eyes in the shower after that one, but I got over most of that stuff now. I think scary stuff is pretty cool, and that's why this dream tonight, I don't even want to call it a nightmare, but it really confused me, man. I'm gonna tell it right now. Basically, I was not even in a place I recognized, but I remember seeing it was like an unfinished house, because there was floorboards up and there was things like that that were decrepit and it was fucked up, but I didn't recognize the place. There was some insulation, like pink insulation stuffed into the floor, and then I remember it was me and none other than Moist Critical walking around. I swear to God, random ass dream, but this dude, me walking around, I shine a flashlight to one place, and then he points to it, and he's like, there's a secret room back there. And I was like, go in it. And bro was like, and just immediately got down and weaseled his way into it. And I was like, and then he was like, I'm in. And I was like, cool. Now what? And he like popped back out like a worm, bro, like a worm from an apple. And I swear to God, I remember all he said, some water? And I was like, I could do that. And I went into the other room, and there was just like a lone water bottle sitting in the, not in the middle of the floor, it was in the corner. I don't know why. That's a detail, important. So I grabbed the water bottle, I go back over to the dude who's still peeking out the top, and I was like, here. And he took it, and he was happy. And that was like it. And I remember thinking, I was trying to think of something like clever to say. I remember in the dream thinking I was trying to think of something to say. And I was like, that was a good first thing to ask for, man. I can't think of anything better. Like that's it. Drink water. And that was it. That was, you know, I woke up to that. And I was soaking wet. I peeled my shirt off. I threw it across the room, and I went and took a shower. I have not had a nightmare in a while, and that was a really fucking weird dream to wake up and feel like I had night terrors. But like I said, I don't think I have night terrors. I just have a couple weird dreams. So that's it. That's really the story. I'm out of bullets here, so fuck it. I gotta go to work soon. I'm gonna close it. Peace out. Love. I'm going. Oh wait, no wait. I forgot to do the artist rendition. You gotta see. Yeah. Okay. Now we're done. I hope you enjoyed us going through my nightmares or dreams, whatever you want to call them. I know I had fun. Have a good day. Peace out. Love. I'm free.